A lot of Latino men grew up with fathers who didn't really talk much. They were there, they provided, they worked really hard, but emotionally, they were quiet, right? And for a long time, a lot of us took that as them being distant. They didn't care, they didn't understand us, they just didn't know how to connect. But what if that silence that they showed wasn't distance? What if it was actually protection? If you grew up in a Latino household, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Your dad wasn't really sitting you down and asking you how you felt. He wasn't asking about stress or fear or anything emotional. You really didn't see him open up like that. And most of the time, you saw him working, handling things, pushing through whatever came his way. And over time, that's what actually becomes your definition of what a man is. You don't talk about it, you deal with it. And because of that, a lot of us made assumptions. We thought, he doesn't understand me. He doesn't care. He's just cold. But we never really stopped to ask, why was he like that in the first place? Because from our perspective, it just felt like something was missing. But when you take a moment to zoom out, things start to look a lot different. A lot of our fathers grew up in environments where survival came first. Some of them immigrated, some of them left everything they knew behind, and some of them just had to figure life out without any type of support or guidance. And in those environments, talking about emotions wasn't useful. It wasn't rewarded, it wasn't encouraged, and if anything, it actually slowed you down. So what did they learn? Keep moving, handle your responsibilities, don't break down. Because if you break, everything else around you might break too. So all that silence that we experienced when we were growing up wasn't necessarily distance. It was a shield. It was a way to carry everything that they were dealing with without letting it spill into their family. Because a lot of Latino fathers weren't trying to be distant on purpose. They were trying to protect their kids from stress, from struggle, from the weight of everything that they were carrying. But the problem is that what protects one generation can actually confuse the next one. Because now, thanks to them, we're in a different position. We're expected to be emotionally aware, communicate better, be present in relationships, but we're trying to do all this without ever being shown how. So what happens? Naturally, we repeat the pattern. We stay quiet, we shut down. We don't always know how to express what we feel, not because we don't care, but because we never learned the language. So this is where things start to shift, because once you start to understand where that silence came from, it changes how you see it. It doesn't mean everything was perfect all of a sudden, but it does give you good amount of context. It gives you a different lens. And instead of just seeing what was missing, you start to see what they were carrying. And now the responsibility shifts to us, not to blame them, not to reject where we come from, but to build on it, to take some of the strength that they had and add something new to it. Awareness, communication, emotional clarity. That way the next generation doesn't have to guess. Look, a lot of Latino fathers didn't talk about their emotions, but not because they didn't feel, but because they were never taught how to express it. And in a lot of cases, because they were trying to protect the people they loved. This channel exists so we can start having those conversations, the ones we didn't grow up having. So if this resonates with you, subscribe, because we're just getting started.